If one side is weaker, should you give it extra reps or an extra set? And the answer, I know it's going to surprise you, is maybe, but more work isn't automatically better. Now, if the deficit truly is strength or endurance, then doing some extra work on the weaker side might help to close that gap. For example, if you're already completing 2 to 3 sets of whatever exercise it is, doing an extra set on the weaker side might be one option. If both sides are having the same amount of reps, but maybe a different load, then also another consideration would be, gradually increasing the load for the weaker side so that you start to bridge that gap and make them a little bit more equal. But remember, as we've talked about in a lot of the videos in the past, you have to really make sure that strength or endurance or something of that nature is really the issue, and that it's not pain limiting your problem, poor control or coordination, poor mobility, things of that nature. And again, if you've missed those videos, go back and have a look at them, because we've kind of talked about some of the other problems that might be presenting, how they might look, and some ways to start discerning what the real issue is. And if strength and endurance is more of the problem, then great, we're knowing how to target that. That's what we're talking about now. But if not, if you start just throwing more volume at things that are having different issues, it could actually either really hammer home compensations and poor habits, or even further irritate the problem. So you really want to make sure you know what problem you're addressing first. Now, the other thing to remember is that the weaker side also needs to make sure it has enough time to recover as it's doing this additional work. So if you go into your next workout and your form is poor, you're not able to control things as much, it's really fatigued, you're having some other increase in symptoms, performance is decreasing, what that's probably telling you is, hey, we threw some extra stuff at the weaker side last time and it may have been a little too much. It's not able to tolerate that yet. So you have to be smart and intentional about how you go about this. So start by training both sides at an appropriate level of effort. And then if the weaker side is tolerating the base program, then it might be a good time to start throwing in some extra targeted work like we've talked about. And remember, though, that you want to retest that after a few weeks so that you actually see how your progress is going. So the takeaway here is to be giving the weaker side the specific stimulus and type of work that it needs, and only as much as it can handle safely, so that we can start to bridge that gap between sides. Next up, we'll talk about why prioritizing equal effort over equal load is important. Stay tuned.